So that certain Aquaman starlet betrayed her own father on the stand, throwing him under the bus. And in my opinion, the reason that she did this is because she was trying to get ahead of his record. I mean, you remember those accusations that she made against JD, talking about little dogs? Well, her father has one heck of a record wherein he, quote, unlawfully, intentionally, and knowingly caused one animal, to wit, a dog, to fight another animal, to wit, a dog. Yeah, that's right, and it doesn't stop there. Now, what makes this even crazier is that her father has done everything in his power to try to defend her while he's doing this, even going as far as to threaten witnesses that were involved in the case. He threatened JD, apparently, too. And beyond that, you know that bottle story that she's fond of? She may well have stolen that from one of his quotes. Oh, it's about to get crazy up in here. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And I find it fascinating what kind of skeletons lurk in that certain Aquaman starlet's closet, and what kind of things that she is willing to betray people like her father over. For example, if you look into his history and you start looking at his record, well, you'll find this. This was reported by RadarOnline.com, where he was arrested. Why was he arrested, you might ask? You notice the charge right there? Cruelty to animals. That's right. Now, the reason that she would do this, by the way, is very, very simple. She decided that she would take that tale, the past of her father, she would weaponize it against JD. She's actually taken 2 other tales that I know of, and she's done the exact same thing. But this one, you heard on the stand, when she was talking about the little dogs, Pistol and Boo, she said JD, he would be cruel to them. He liked to hang them out windows, talking about terrible things that he was going to do to them. See, here's the reality of this messed up situation. Everything that she has accused JD of, when you start digging into it, all roads, they don't lead to him. They lead firmly back to her. Whether that's about arrests in relationships, she's had one of those in 2009 with Tasha Van Ree. Whether that's about animals and charges that were levied against her or somebody that's around her, that would be her father. Again, she has taken all this stuff associated with her. She has thrown it at JD, but to keep that stuff from sticking to her, she'll betray them. And that's what happened to Dad. Now, what makes all of this even crazier, like I was saying before, is that her father has gone out of his way to protect her. That includes going after witnesses, which we have discussed here in this declaration. That also means going after JD. And in going after JD, you remember that bottle that she really, really loves to talk about? Yeah, we have a bottle brought up. We have a certain situation that sounds a lot like the thing that she was describing. Only, Dad, he was saying that he was going to do that to JD. Now, this declaration, it is magical and well worth looking at. Why? Because it gives you a first-hand account of the craziness that is that certain Aquaman starlet, the craziness that is her family. And again, everything that happens in this. You have the father protecting her. Yeah, she's still going to betray him and throw him under the bus. It takes a minute to go through, but it is definitely worth it. Now, the guy that's talking about this is David Kalaki. David Kalaki, quote, at the request of JD, helped facilitate an agreement with a network to restore and customize his wife, that certain Aquaman starlet's 1968 Mustang, on an episode of the series Overhaul. And if you haven't seen that, by the way, it is on YouTube. It is definitely worth watching because you get a real feel for who and what she is. It is a mess. I was successful in doing so, and filming of the reveal was December 20th, 2014. So on one occasion, I had the most unusual and unsettling experience with that certain Aquaman starlet. After installing a new sound system in her Mustang, she had asked me to visit her at the Eastern Columbia building. She wanted me to instruct her on how to operate the touchscreen, also teach her how to interface her iPhone with the onboard system, make hands-free calls, details, etc., etc., etc. When I arrived precisely at the appointed time, she was not available. It would be 3 hours. So she kept him reading 3 hours in the garage before she came down from the penthouse to the parking garage. After she came down, we found the Mustang. She got into the driver's seat and I front passenger seat. She seemed to be in a very happy mood. We spent a moment exchanging greetings. Then she said something weird. Ooh, here we are alone together in a parked car in a dark parking garage. We could do anything in here and nobody would see us. She added to that statement. However, I was uncertain today of what exactly she added. Now, Kalaki said that she had it even more, and well, he was speechless and did not make any reply to that, nor did he make eye contact. She was wearing a white t-shirt, denim jeans, dark shoes. My only response was to say, okay, let me show you how your sound system works. Now, when they start going through this, I'm skipping a few lines, he notices Dr. David Kipper's name and phone number. Now, considering their earlier exchange, he figured small talk, I guess it would be okay. And he says, oh, do you know Dr. Kipper too? He says her response was completely unexpected. She turned to me shockingly ice and said, how the bleep do you know Dr. Kipper? I quickly apologized for asking, said it was none of my business, told her that Dr. Kipper was a client of mine. The tension in the air was extreme at that point while she gave me the silent treatment, then quickly exited the car saying, it's none of your bleeping business. He said she disappears after that. He exits, goes home, he reports this, and he figures he's done with her. He's probably happy about it. Then in 2016, well, new news comes. It comes about the separation. He's told approximately June 2016 from Kevin Murphy to separate billing on work related to the Mustang. He can continue billing JD for work performed on his vehicles, but as far as the Mustang is concerned, that's her problem now. So, of course, he wants to get paid. He hits her up, and well, the reply I received was what I can only be described as extremely hostile response from her. I did my best to convey to her that I did not wish to get in the middle of a dispute between her and JD. She did not receive this information very well. Her first reaction was to verbally abuse me with explicit threats, continued rants over what she claimed was an unfortunate financial downturn of her personal financials caused by JD. At one point, she said, you bleepers, you're screwing me. Then she says, well, there's an agreement between me and JD. It's a financial agreement. She said that he was responsible for paying her bills, that if I expected payment, I should forward bills to JD. He said, well, okay, if you send a copy of that to me, I would consult with JD's people to form an opinion of the agreement. She said, that's privileged. I can't send that to you. So he gets verbally abused even more. Then she said she hadn't authorized the repairs, and I reminded her of the phone conversations and text messages that contradicted her statement. She did everything to convince me to release the car to her without payment. She claimed not to have money. She said, Johnny's not paying my rent. He's not paying my bills. Bleep you and bleep him. The final phone conversation I had with her was very unpleasant. He says, I'm not talking to her anymore. I demand cash only. I was informed in her accountant, Hector, and the conversations with him, well, they were pleasant. After she was informed about the new cash-only policy, she flipped out me over the phone. The abuse was worse than ever, yelling, cursing, threatening me with legal action. She said I'd broken our agreement to satisfy the open invoices. She also stated that I was a dishonorable piece of, she knows a lot about those on pillows, right? Now, this is where Dad comes in. Quote, after the attempt to facilitate the repairs, modifications, and additions to the Mustang, I received many text messages and phone calls from her father, David Hurd. After the separation of JD and the certain Aquaman starlet, Mr. Hurd became very bitter toward JD. During a phone call with me, he had stated, that bleeping piece of bleep is bleeping me too, because I'm supposed to get 10% of the money, and without it, I can't produce the movie I was going to make. He also supposedly said he's ruining my baby girl's career and blackballing her over Hollywood, and when I get him, I'm going to beat the bleep out of him, and I'm from Texas, and men from Texas carry 45s, and JD is going to meet the bleeping end of mine. I told Mr. Hurd that it sounded like he was drunk, and he said, yeah, maybe I am, and maybe I'm going to shove that whiskey bottle right up your, Does that sound like something that, might lead to a tale that you've heard before? I strongly advised him to stop making those kinds of threats about JD, to stop making those against me. After getting off the phone with him, I called Kevin Murphy instantly. I reported exactly what was said. He assured me that he would report this to the local authorities. Having been raised by a deputy sheriff homicide detective, I knew to take this kind of stuff seriously. Now, that's just the tip of the proverbial iceberg, too. There are a lot of other statements about him as well, but she throws him under the bus. He's doing everything that he can, basically to get his, but make sure that she gets hers, too. What does she do? She betrays him, trying to weaponize his past. I mean, that's astounding, isn't it? Let me know what you think about that. Check out our book, too. Link is in the description. We need your help pushing this thing through. That's our way of standing up to industry that allowed this mess to happen. Help us send that message in loudly. Thank you, too, for being here. Let me know what you think about this, and I'm going to end here. Thank you again. See you soon.